Spearhead. I'm Ace Face, and I'm here as always with my good buddy Simon. How you doing, Simon?
I'm all right, thank you, my friend. I'm okay.
Good. It's been a busy old time. So we've got lots to talk about tonight, and of course we're going to talk about the new edition in our own unique way. If this is the first time that you've listened to the show, let's put the warning out there nice and early. This is not safe for work edition. So if you've listened to a lot of our other kind of content recently, even as recent as just this weekend, where me and Simon covered the reaction to the release or the previewed release of 9th edition, this is not quite like that. We very much are a little bit I don't know how to put it really, Simon, but we're a little bit closer to the bone, let's say. So if you're easily offended, or you don't like a few F's and Jeffs here and there, this is probably not the show for you. But we have got loads of cool content that you can consume through Twisting Dice. So we've got painting tutorials, fluff videos, we've got all sorts going on. We've got battle reports, and loads of reviews and tactics of stuff coming through the works in 9th edition. So loads and loads of content. You can also catch up with all our cool stuff over on the Facebook page, either on the Twisted Dice Facebook page, or you can catch up with the very special and unique Tip of the Spearhead Facebook page, and we'd really love to hear your thoughts on the podcast over there. So jump over there and give it a like, and let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to cover. But we've got all sorts of good stuff, and even hopefully next week, if not next week, it'll be the week after. Simon's got his first terrain video coming up, so if you want to know how to make some cool looking mountains, that's just around the bend as well. And if you want to support us further and you like what we do and want to kind of encourage us to continue, or maybe that's a bad thing to offer out, we have got a Patreon service. So from $1 a month, you can back us, become part of the Discord server, where you've got loads of really cool people chatting hobby and all sorts of fun stuff, and it helps us out loads. But just by watching this or listening to it, however you consume it, that helps us out tons. So that's quite a long one, Simon, but we can jump in.
I was falling asleep, mate. Good. Thank fuck you finished. Let's set the scene as we are.
Absolutely.
Right. So
we thought we'd go a little bit different, didn't we? Yeah. Well, yes. I'm never gonna shut up. But we thought we'd take a different angle, right?
Well, we did the rules on Saturday, right? And
we did, yeah.
I don't think there's been a big change. I watched the thing on Tuesday, same as you. They put some more meat on the bone. There seems to have been, and I spotted it on the chat and on our chat and everything else. There seems to be some unease about the edition. I don't know why. I think it sounds brilliant. I'm really a bit baffled why people are wary of this. It can only be a good thing, right?
I think change scares the fuck out of some people, and that's the way it is. You know, it doesn't matter. It could be the best thing in the world. You know, someone could turn around and go, "Well, look, tomorrow you're going to win the lottery and you're going to get £10 million," and then someone will go, "Well, you know, what does that mean? You know, where's the, you know?"
Well, that's rubbish. You know? I wanted 100 million.
Yeah, so I think no, I think the reality is change scares people, and let's be honest, we've got some quite colourful and interesting people within this community, and I think change hurts us geeks more than the most. So I think it's quite normal, and fingers crossed though. I think it sounds really exciting to me, and I can't wait. It's going to be good, right?
I think so. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I watched that thing with you on Saturday. I was absolutely stoked with it.
Yeah, mate, you're actually cheerful for a fucking change, which is rare.
It's still ongoing, mate. I'm still waiting. I'm still cheerful. It's still uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah, this is Salty Simon you're speaking to and listening to. You know, this is a weird one because he's very, very chirpy at the moment.
Well, let's give it an hour and see where it takes us. I'm sure I'll revert to type at some point, mate. I can't stay happy forever, but no, it's really, really cool. Look. If you love the hobby, you can only love them getting more involved. That's the way I look at it. 8th was a big step, and then when 8th started, it was very, it felt like 3rd edition. If you don't remember that, it went very bland to me.
Yeah.
There was no flavour. Then they gave it flavour. Some stuff had more flavour, some stuff didn't, and it got a bit out of control, which is a typical Games Workshop. It's what happens when we pour loads of content out and they keep trying to grow things and do stuff, and shit got out of control, and then it was all our fault, then it was someone else's, and blah, 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 here we are. So you get to that point, same as what happened in 7th and 6th, where you need a new edition to tidy it up. There's suddenly more FAQ than there is rules. You've got to do something about it. And that's what this will do. And it also likes, and look, I get it, the whole Mike Brand Reese thing, because he was all kicking off in various other pages as well. What's this going to mean for this, that, the other? It's like, guys.
Yeah, well, he's given Nova to his brother or something, isn't he, basically? Have you heard that? Did you know that?
Yeah. He put a statement out.
Yeah, which I thought, to be fair, because I was the first person to raise my eyebrows a little bit. And okay, look, he's keeping it in the family, so he's going to have a say on how Nova is still run, which makes sense. It's his baby, and he's run one of the best tournaments in the world for however many years, and it's a huge success. So, like, he'd be stupid just to kind of go, well, I'll wash my hands from it for a new little toy I've got. But at the same time, I think it's a pretty good idea to distance himself from it being his own, as such as he's taking this new role pretty seriously, which is, I think that's, as much as I can be critical, I think that's a pretty sensible thing, and that definitely bodes well, I think, for how he's taken on the project.
And for me the big thing will be this move towards mono missions. If we can get to that, it's the dream, and it genuinely is. And I think Reese has said it. He says he didn't set out to completely redesign everything. It was a necessity, because of various reasons. It didn't. And I think what they've done is, one, they've been going to all the tournaments, and they've seen the various different packs. Mike's very aware of it.
Yeah.
And Reese has obviously been talking with Mike, and I think what we're going to get now is, it's going to be really cool where you can go to Games Workshop and play in from the schools and play the same missions as what you play in Vegas, or going to Nova, or going to somewhere else, or the Prague Open, or anywhere like that. If we've all got the same set of missions, I think it's really cool. I think so. If they're good and if they work, why not? Because then you don't have to mess around.
Absolutely. And I think
all these things are really, really good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously we're very much part of the TO group, and a lot of the conversation around the how missions and how tournament running is played out gets discussed and planned out through that group. So obviously there's a certain fear factor of the fact that in some ways that to a degree is being moved away from that. And look, if there are people that are being paid to actually really work on something and land it right, then I'm all in favour of not having to do any work. I do enough. So I'm all for that. But at the same point, you kind of like, taking all that control away from the TOs and their tournaments worries. But look, I think I've put my mast in the sand that I have some worries about it, but I'm really positive, and I am wishing all the best to Mike and the team around, and just really hoping that they absolutely knock the missions out of the park. Because if we can get to that utopia, which is a unified mission pack, then I think we're in such a good place. So look, fingers crossed, right?
100% good, buddy.
But anyway, we're gonna move slightly away from the specifics of the rules that we've had, because we've spoken about that a little bit in detail, and a lot of people speaking that in detail, and we thought we'd have a bit of fun this evening and talk a little bit about these epic cool models that we've seen now, and there are tons of them to discuss. So we thought we'd talk about the Space Marines, and we would talk about the Necrons, and what we think of the models, and we'll be brutally honest, I can tell you that for sure. But on top of that, we'll do a bit of wild speculation of what we think they'll be like in the game as well. So do you want to direct this one, Simon? Do you want to start us off somewhere?
Oh, that's a lot of responsibility. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to shoulder this. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'll flip it. Right, which one do you want to do first? Do you want to do Necrons or Space Marines? You pick one.
Let's do Space Marines first. I think the Necrons are more interesting. You want to talk about
the aliens last? Yeah, there we go. Typical bullshit.
Typical Xenos,
yeah. About the aliens. So first of all, I'm going to say this right, because I have a conspiracy, which I'm sure we all have, which is when they do one of these big reviews, I think somebody in their office releases potato shit pictures of to the internet and goes, share them around, and then it all gets shared around, and everyone's staring at this like pixelated pile of shite, and then literally within 5 minutes, out they pop with a, oh, the potato camera's been busy again. Here's some real pictures in a really slick looking thing that they've done that looks all predetermined. Now,
Absolutely,
I might be out on a limb there.
No, come on, 100%. Because no fucker out there has got a camera that is that bad. That amount of pixelation on pictures is not a thing. You don't see that anywhere. You think in any other walk of life that you see that crappy picture, you just don't see it.
It's been faxed. That's what it's been done. Someone took a picture of it, faxed it, and then faxed it to someone else. Then you get it looking that shit. So they did it again, and lo and behold, oh look, we're all staring at these pictures, and then suddenly out it comes with the, this is what you're really looking at. So now we've all had a good look at what we're really looking at, and there is some really cool shit. We'll start with Space Marines then, since you don't like them, and I will say straight off. Let me get my little finger. So what new shit did we get? We got intercessors with chainswords, which look boss. I think they look really cool.
They do.
I like them in their more running poses. That's really really smart.
Yeah, the sergeant guy looks particularly good. He's got a really dynamic pose. Yeah, I really like that.
with the chainsword and the plasma pistol. That guy.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he looks awesome. He looks like he's getting ready to crush some faces. I like him.
He does.
So they look really cool. Gives our intercessors a new twist. And if people hadn't realised yet, and we've been saying it forever, if people were still thinking that their little Marines had a place, as that little meme says, it's that skeleton on the front of that guy's shield, because that's where it is, right? I'm sorry, they're gone, they're dead. This is now the new world order. I don't know how Space Marines are going to look. I suspect there's going to be some legend movement happening at some point, but there's no way they're going to keep assault squads and fucking bike squads and all that stuff now. It's look, accept it. If you like playing with your little Marines, go play Heresy. That's the truth of it right now, isn't it?
It's only a matter of time. The reality is, like, all they're going to do is they're going to strip away any decent rules and abilities from these guys until nobody's fucking playing them, and then people will put them on the shelves, and then at that point they'll pull the plug. They're not saying that right now. Of course, they're not saying that because they don't want to upset people, because that would be silly, you know. And that's look, and also there's no reason that they need to cut them and colour them straight away. There's a nice bit of fluff there, you know. That's part and parcel. The reality is they've just built in themselves a great little failsafe, because they've now brought out a whole narrative of stuff that they can move now. Who's to say that they don't build something in 3 years' time in that narrative that kills off all the little Marines? They've got the ability to do that. So at the moment, it's just playing the waiting game. But look, guys, let's not be naive. Nobody in their right mind thinks that the little Marines look better. They don't look better. They look nowhere near as cool as the new Primaris. It is a natural progression of model design, and we just got to get on with it. Look. Old models just don't look as good as new models on the whole. There are some exceptions, fair, but on the
there's
whole,
an exception coming. There's an exception coming. But anyway, let's not jump our little gun.
Let's not
yet.
Let's not. So, but yeah.
But so there we go. So I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And as a painter, I'm doing my Space Wolves, and the Primaris are a joy. I love painting them. Yeah. The Impulsor I'm painting now is a joy. It was a joy to build as well. I just think, you know, come on. I understand people applied a lot of money in. I've got a whole massive 100%. Army of little Marines, but it's the way of it, right? It just happens.
It is the way of it. Yeah. It's the same as like people that have got like hundreds of boys that are all on little bases. Like the reality is, they're big bases now, boys. You rebase them. It's tough luck. You've got to deal with it. Like I've got hundreds of Gene Stealers that are all on the wrong size base, but it's just we've got to deal with it, guys. It's nothing stands still. This is, you know, we're moving forward. We've just got to get on with it, you know. This is not a historic.
Mate, this is like a management meeting. The only constant is change. Yeah. You can get on the train or you can get off the train. Right? It's just about being in work, isn't it?
Let's move along quickly. Move off this subject.
So there we go. So you've got your assault intercessors, which I think look boss. I'm very interested to see what their loadouts will be. But I just think, just straight up, I think they look cool. I think
No
they're going to have
jump
a lot of
packs,
use.
though, guy. No jump packs. No jump
Yeah,
packs.
but they do have dudes with jump packs. I
They
suspect
do.
you're going to see some assault versions of them at some point. I think that will happen. It will happen soon. They'll just be heavy assault rather than light assault.
It's
But anyway,
yeah,
but you can throw them in impulses. You know,
Yeah.
I'm loving the idea of doing the old Rhino rush. And literally, what have I done? As I said on Saturday, I've got on my box of Reavers, and I'm going to cut the little heavy bolt pistols off, and I'm going to stick them onto intercessors, and I'm going to make my own. That's how much I want them.
Yeah.
So done. So let's do. I'm going to buy the new ones too, but that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So then,
Good stuff.
next up, what did we have? We had the Blade Guard veterans, which were the really cool guys with swords and shields. They look fucking awesome too.
Right. So, have you got a picture of them? Have you got a picture of them in front of you?
Yes, I do.
So what is that stupid little? What is that stupid little satchel that they've got around there? Because what's fitting in that? Because that's not the size of a sword. They've got like a little, like almost like the gun holster.
It is a gun holster because there's a book coming out at the end of it.
But the shape of it looks weird. I don't like it.
It's exactly the shape of a heavy bolt pistol.
I don't like it. It looks weird. It looks weird.
I agree, but that's what it is because that's right in front of me. It is a pistol, but the shields look stunning.
The shields look stunning. I question that swords need. Swords aren't great in the game at the moment. Like
at the moment.
Yeah, and that obviously, that's the thing. We don't know, do we? But
caveat.
Yeah, because if the strength 4 with I don't know. We'll see.
They're called Blade Guard, right? So they're veterans. If there's anything that's going to give them something cool, it'll be that. But underestimate if they're storm shields. And again, we're surmising because we don't know what the hell the new rules are going to be. But they're going to be tanky. But
they are going to be
fucking. They just look fucking ace.
They do. They're boss, aren't they? Yeah, they're beefy.
I have to give the painters their job. I'm looking at a very, very large one now. The guy they've got the white helmets.
Yeah.
With the swords, they just look. They're stunning. I'm not going to lie. Very happy about that.
They look like they look like the Ultramarines have got like their primary honor guard that go with
they do look like honor guard.
So they look like them, but they're actually better. I think they look even more beefier. Well, they look I don't know. They just look better.
The non-generic. Sorry, no. Sorry, they are generic.
They are generic.
That's the word I'm looking for. They're non-Ultramarine. So anybody can have Blade Guard, which I think is really cool because I just sort of sit because they're all obviously painted as Ultramarines because it's Games Workshop and they only ever paint things as Ultramarines. So that's cool, whatevs. But you can imagine them being Blood Angels. They look amazing. Yeah, there's so many cool little things. I can't. I mean, it doesn't really fit my Space Wolf aesthetic. I'd have to do something about those shields. But still, the fact that I can have heavy, what looks like heavy assault. Or type dudes jumping out of my impulsor, it excites me because one, Wolfen have the best storm shield, so I can easily fix that, and I can flip them out for some other looking cool blades, make them looking like frost blades or something. You could do it; it would work.
Oh, easy.
So I really like that. Now we jump on to what I think is hands down my favorite model in the Primaris range ever that they've ever done ever. So I'm happy, and it's the bikes. I think they look fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I can argue with that.
The hobo can. The hobo immediately sent me one going, they wouldn't steer around corners and the suspension would be shit. So, because the hobo, everything has to work, right?
The only thing that I would say that is weird is the fact that they don't hover. Like, that doesn't make any logical sense, but this is 40k, so who cares?
What do you mean they don't hover? It doesn't have to be a hover bike, it's a bike. Why would it hover?
But why would you take the tracks off everything apart from your two-wheeled bikes that are the most fragile thing of anything? It doesn't
look fragile, do they?
They don't. They look like gold wings.
They look like I'm going to be able to cruise down with my music playing.
Mate, they look amazing.
Some Xenos. They look stunning. I can't wait to paint them.
They look absolutely amazing. It's just quite funny where that they've decided, we'll take everything off tracks apart from bikes. No, we want bikes still. We want bikes on wheels. And I think that's a good decision because they do look. I think they look cooler than they would if they're hover. There's something gritty about the fact that the bikers still run on wheels,
And they have a kind of like a blocky Akira aesthetic, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I think I saw someone do that. Like they mocked up the
Yes, I saw
Akira
that.
front.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was
yeah.
quite clever. That was good.
They look quite cool. But
They do.
and this is I don't think it's a great conspiracy here to say that all they're doing is replacing the units. So we had bike units, now we have new bike units. I don't think there's anything nobly thing with that. Yes, they've made rhinos floating rhinos, and they've made land raiders floating land raiders. But there is something pretty 40k about bikes. I don't know what it is.
Oh, 100%.
And
100%.
white scars could potentially take them, and they'd look really cool. And I like that was a big thing, wasn't it? White scars don't have a bike army. Well, now you do, right?
I hope they've got really cool rules, because I think it would be good to see some really cool bikes on there. You know, the only thing you kind of, again, shed a tear for the Dark Angels, because I know that they'll be able to have them, but like they're not going to have Black Knights on them, are they? So the Black Knights are still going to be.
No. Yeah, and this is exactly so. We've got the same situation in the Space Force, right? My new favorite army, where we've got guys riding wolves, you know, and we've also got Wolfen. You're going to have some what I would call specialist units that aren't Primaris for a good while yet, right?
Yeah.
So even though I've made I say me, the hobo did it for me, but I have Primaris on Thunderwolves because I love Primaris and I wanted them. But rules-wise, we don't have them yet, and whether we will, I don't know. How big the wolf would have to be would be amazing. But anyway, Blood Angels are going to have the same for a while. You know, Dark Angels are going to have the same for a while. So I think you're going to have these little specialist units of the old guard until they're killed. Heroically in battle in a charge of the Light Brigade type fashion, where all of the small Marines are wiped out in one epic operation, sending the little guys.
And they'll just do it in part. Yeah, they'll just do it in passes, won't they? Because they did it kind of for the Blood Angels with the Death Company. So obviously you get Death Company intercessors now. So that's kind of their first pass through. That was a real quick and easy one. You know, and no doubt they'll plug and play these new assault ones into that as well. And that's kind of that just fits nicely. And so then next time they go over, they'll probably do Sanguine Guards. So it's kind of like, I think that the reality is every time they do a release, they want to give someone something new and exciting. If they can't give it all at the same time, it's just, you know, as much as we would love that, that's never going to happen. So I think we've got to accept that it's a slow phase out of Little Marines, and slowly but surely we're going to see these cool new replacement models. But so far, I don't think they've made a mistake so far with the ones we've spoken about, because they are amazing.
So do you want to talk about the mistake then? Should we talk about that one now? Do we need to get Salty Simon out?
The weird fucking looking dude.
The fucking executioner. Right. We were doing so well. Right. I've been happy. I have been progressively happier because we had the assault intercessors, big love. Dudes with shields, big love. Bikes, man, awesome. Yeah. Why the fuck? What has this guy escaped from Age of Sigmar? I'm confused. What happened? Because he looks like he's in he's literally he was one of those fucking dudes in Age of Sigmar. What are they called?
No idea.
The bloody stupid Space Marines from freaking Age of Sigmar.
Oh, the Sigmarites things.
Sigmarites. So it looks like, because when they die, they get reforged, right? So they beam up his lightning. He's gotten lost, and he's jumped 40,000 years into the future, and he's spawned now.
But as the warp opened, as the clouds open and shut again, it's that kind of thing where when the warp closes, it cuts something off, and it cut the top of his sword off.
Now, right. So there is a thing with this, right? So
no, there isn't.
Sword is, no, wait. Listen, I'll tell you something. That sword's a real thing, right? And I knew it was a real thing. It is an executioner's sword. It exists. It exists for one purpose and one person only, and that's for chopping people's heads off. And very specifically, nobles, right? So that they didn't have to put their head on the block. What use is that in a goddamn battlefield? Zero. How many, apart from your Tau, who was shit, how many people are going to literally kneel and go on, get it over and done with, mate? That's very kind of you, because I was going to have to hit you with this stupid hourglass that I've got for no fucking good reason. Why has he got an hourglass?
What is that about? Because he's in the middle of a game of Mousetrap and he needs to turn it over quickly because he's got to do the little...
What's he looking at it going, oh, when the sand runs out, Xenos, your life will too. But it's a bit of a while in there, so you just keep kneeling, mate, and I'll get to you. Fucking nonsense. It's an Age of Sigmar model.
I don't mind the hourglass, to be fair, but the head is just so weird. I don't know, but it's got that kind of Chaplin-esque feel about it. But the head, what's going on?
Then he's got a leather coat on, but he hasn't bothered to put the arm on one side, and it's all laying down. Why? What, so he can swing his sword? Why do you even have the coat on then? What's the fucking point of it? Just leave the coat at home. If the coat's not practical, don't put it on. Right?
Yeah.
Fucking winds me up. And then you got
It
that
is
stupid,
quite literally
stupid head.
a swing. Yeah, swing and a miss.
Why's he got a COVID-19 mask on? What is he afraid? What's he doing? Oh, it was going so well, and then that turned up, and you were like, "What is going on with this model?"
It's a very, very weird model. It looks very out of place. It just
looks
looks
like a witch hunter or something. I just don't really get it.
It looks like they took the Primaris Chaplain model, which is a boss model, and they went, right, now what's good about this model? Okay, this is good, Right, change that and make that look really shit, and then we'll put it out again. Because the foundations of the model look really similar, but then all the extra bits that they've added to it just make a model that was cool look really fucking bad.
So what you can do is, right, and this is how I would fix this model. Take away the armor.
Don't buy it, leave it in the shop.
Take away the hourglass, change the head, change the body to a different body, and I don't know what the backpack looks like, so we might keep that. But basically, just change that for a chaplain, and you're done, aren't you?
Just buy the chaplain model, you mean? Then basically,
which looks awesome. Yeah.
So buy the chaplain model is our advice.
I'm sure there's some people out there that think it looks amazing, and it's very grimdark to walk around beating people with a
dodgy sword.
With a dodgy sword that you can't stab with, so has zero use on a battlefield, or beat them to death with a giant egg timer. What's he doing that for? Is he making eggs? I don't understand. I don't understand. Is he looking at his clock going, you have until... It's like, honestly, it's like fucking from Crystal Maze, isn't it? You have until the sand runs out to solve the puzzle.
It's not cool. It's not.
Don't get it. Yeah. So we were doing so well. Maybe we should have started with that one, but it wasn't as funny. And then there was, in the potato picture, another character, and they've not released a picture of him that I can see. So I'm a little bit... I don't know. There was two characters. There was the dudes. There was what looks like intercessors. No, not intercessors. There looks like Gravis armor dudes with heavy weapons.
Plasma guns. Yeah.
Well, obviously new Devastators. So there's those little guys gone too.
Yeah.
And there was another character who I'm trying to get it up now. There's another character.
Easy. I know it's a late show, but we don't need that.
Well, it was going up and up and up, mate. And then I got to that dude at the end, and it's just flopped. That's just, you know what I mean? I got nothing there now. It's gone. It's just killed the mood. I'm not in the mood for it now. I was doing so well. And then now it's just like, I'm not really interested. You've ruined it for me. Yeah. So, where have we got? There we go. So here's the little potato picture. You've got, there he is at the back with his little hourglass, and there's another dude, which looks like he's got a pistol to one side, and he's holding something up. It's like I can't really make him out. And then there looks like a new ancient model too with a banner. I don't think we've seen him before.
Yeah.
And then you've got the three dudes at the back in heavy armor with what they look like. They look like las cannons. I think they are las cannons. You know, well they'll probably be las fusils or something stupid, won't they? They won't be called las cannons. And oh, hang about, someone's cleaned it up. Yes, it is. Okay, I've seen the clean up image now. Yeah, that could be a Primaris Cassius thingamybobber. Could be a special character.
Well, we'll see. We'll wait and see.
And they're melter guns. Now I can get a closer look.
Fine. Well, look, we know there's more stuff coming, and we absolutely know 100% there is definitely a potato land speeder out there somewhere as well. But so
you say that could be anything. That is the worst picture I've ever seen in my life.
That
wasn't even done on a camera. Someone's drawn that with pencils. Nonsense.
So that's space. That is Space Marines done. Let's talk about the cool stuff now. The exciting stuff.
There's a lot of cool stuff to dissect here. I don't even know where you start. There's even cool stuff in the background, which I can't work out whether it's terrain.
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is some.
So you start right at the very, very back with the monolith. First of all, that monolith looks different. So
it is different.
I don't remember that Crystal Maze thing being in the middle of it. So that's
totally
a changed model.
It's totally different. Yeah,
so they've redone the monolith. But at the very back, these like little mini monoliths at the back. That looks like terrain. That would be a new...
No. That's not. I don't think that's anything.
Really? Because it doesn't look homemade. It looks like it could be a Necron terrain piece, much like the Mech Toy.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it looks very, very. That does not look mocked up. That looks legit.
It's true, and we know that generally terrain stuff is becoming something that. Yeah, and terrain is something that Games Workshop definitely are seeing a real big kind of boom on. So it would make sense for them to kind of work on terrain. So yeah, 100%, and that's cool as well. So maybe you can put some on your maybe you can put some of that terrain looks big. Maybe you can put some on your table and make it better.
Yeah, I could do. But that wouldn't be any fun.
Couldn't make it much fucking worse. Right.
There we go.
So let's
you lost the game. Deal with it. Right. So which one do you want? Where do you want to start here? Because there's tons of them.
Let's start off little. Let's start little, and let's get bigger.
Can I? Here's one then. Have you got a picture up, or do you know what we're talking about? So there's some brand new models right near the front, and they look like they're jet engines with heads on. Little tiny guys with sides.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're not really at the front, are they? But I know what you mean.
They're behind the dude. They're front-ish, right? So they're the first two that catch my eye.
They're next to the big dude. They look amazing. They remind me of They remind me of the guys you know from Star Wars, where you've got like the little guys where you kind of like punch them on the head and they kind of fold down into like a little circle, almost like a little thing in the. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of.
Kind of like they're like little droidy things, and like you kind of tap them on the head, and they kind of all fold down into like one little kind of. That's what they kind of remind me of a little bit. But they're really cool.
Got two big looking sides for hands and a little head, and it looks like it is like a little jet engine, isn't it? It's odd. But,
yes.
But they're with the characters, so I've got a suspicion they're going to be some sort of generatory type thing. But they look really cool.
They look absolutely amazing. They look really cool.
And then you've got that character. What is that character? What is he doing there, John? I haven't got a clue. He's got a war scythe. I'm assuming that's a new dude.
It's got to be a new dude, doesn't it? It could be. It looks quite similar to Oberon, who kind of has a similar kind of aesthetic, with the kind of with the robes and the big kind of scythe. So he was kind of like one of the royal court.
He looks really spindly, doesn't he?
Spindly
character.
I mean, he looks a lot more spindly than Oberon is, which makes me think maybe it's not him. But yeah, he looks cool. He's definitely not a cryptech.
He's got a war scythe, hasn't he? Which is a bit of a giveaway.
He's got a war scythe, and he just looks different, doesn't he? He's definitely taller. He looks more menacing. Whether he is the new Necron Lord, I mean, who knows? But he doesn't even. I don't know if it is. That's a very different aesthetic to Necron Lords. But maybe that's what they want Necron Lords to look like, because there aren't any other. There's no other Necron Lords in that picture, right? As far as I'm aware.
There's lots of special characters, but
I can't see any Necron Lords though. We'll scan through, but he looks like the only one that potentially would be a Necron Lord. So maybe he's the new Necron Lord. Maybe new Necron Lord or Overlord. But anyway, so
and then you've got the super heavy destroyer dude.
Now that's my favourite. He's my favourite. This is my favourite model on this whole page.
Are you for real?
Yes,
100%. Mad?
No.
All of the models on this page, that dude with the big gun is the best one.
That gun just does it for me. That is just. I just think he looks so cool. I just love that guy. Like
that is so outrageous. You've made me want to go have another beer. Right, I'm gonna have to go get another beer. You keep talking. You just. I can't.
I will. You can't contemplate. All right, you have a little time now. But yeah, I just love him because he's got the big kind of like domey body, so he just looks like a destroyer on steroids. He just looks, and the fact that he's got it kind of like almost like underslung, where he's kind of almost like a Bren gun, but with
like
just
some
like
sort
huge,
of riptide type look.
It just looks so cool, and I mean it's huge as well. I think that let's not underestimate the size of it. That base is massive. Are you
saying you like things with big guns?
I do like things with big guns.
Well, I've been to Vegas with you. I know this is true.
It's amazing. I just think it's such a cool model.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I like that we've gone away from all the stupid little plastic shit. That's good. Let's make some real looking models.
Yeah, it's lower as well. I like the fact it's quite like low. It's not like sort of too kind of spindly. It just looks beefy and stocky. So I like it. because I don't, and in complete parallel to that, the worst model for me is the one that stands behind it.
What, the weird standy uppy thing?
I don't like that, because that to me just looks like someone's taken the destroyer kind of gun off one of the others and literally just stuck it to the top of some concoction of spare bits that they had. I'm afraid I don't like it.
It entirely looks like a kit bash.
I
wouldn't be. They don't do kit bashes anymore.
No,
but that is a destroyer top with the heavy gun from the underslot thing,
with
legs from some other stuff.
Yeah,
it looks entirely like it's been made by someone in the studio out of the bits they could find lying around.
And also,
menacing,
if you, but what the most menacing thing about it is if you walk past that on a table and you gave it a little nudge, that looked like that's pretty fragile.
Yeah, but if a lot of these things are plastic, and plastic's harder than it looks, to be fair. But you're right; it's the weirdest one there because it doesn't look.
No, I just don't like it.
It looks like they've gone right. Well, we need to redesign the destroyers.
Yeah.
Ooh, what are we going to do with all the old destroyers? Stick them on this thing. Let's give me some bits. I'll give me fucking 10 minutes. I'll make you something. What do you reckon to that? Well, it looks a bit shit, but we need a cool picture, so go on, do it anyway. Paint it up. So you're right. That one, and there's another one which tells you it's a dual kit because he's on the other side. So with the three little. Here's what I think. Look at the other little guy with the three little lights. I think he's just a lamppost. I just think he just walks around giving some light. It's all about shadows and light in the old Necrons, isn't it?
True.
He's just walking around.
It's just very, very odd. I know it's got a little bit of the
worlds type of spec, haven't they? And
it kind of looks like like one of the spindle drones, but a lot shitter. Is that fair?
I'm not going to lie, it's got that kind of aesthetic. So in between those two guys, then what looks like Leash Guard look exactly the same. They don't look new to me. So
I think they're just normal. I think they look standard, which is more or less. There's very little that isn't new in this page, so that's pretty cool in itself. But yeah, they look standard.
So then you've got the new warriors, which I like,
which are amazing.
Like the new warriors. Yep,
yeah,
really
cool. They look great. They look really, really good. You know, at a distance. You've got a
little dude coming out of the monolith too. That's ace.
Oh man, that's so cool. Like I only really noticed that. I was looking at it the other day. Oh, it better be because it looks so cool.
With the little lightning bolts going through and shit. Looks ace, doesn't it?
I mean, that model looks amazing. I just love that monolith looks so cool. It just looks
not incredible. A big fan of the crystal dome on top.
Really, I love it. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
maybe when I see it again, the rest of it looks really cool. I'm just not sure about the crystal dome in the middle. It looks too. Doesn't look. I don't know. It looks too constructed. But I suppose it is Necrons. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm used to there being lightning. You know, they're very lightning type people.
I mean, the thing is, I just think because most their stuff is just round, isn't it? Most of the stuff are like domes, so they're like spherical. Yeah. So they're not. It's the only thing that kind of has like, that crystal effect to it. Most other things, if you look at all the kind of orbs on pretty much every other model, like whether it's like an eye or like a globe or whatever it is, they're all completely spherical. So it's the only things. It does stand out a little bit, but I really, really like it. I think it's because it's so big. I think if it was just a dome, it might look a bit boring. So I think it's quite cool. I really like it still.
It looks like a D100, so okay, I can maybe give it that. There's a little dude here, which obviously you've got the main super character who's sucking up his shit. The new
Silent King.
No, not him. The guy next to him.
I was going to say
the special character. We haven't got Silent King yet.
I was going to say.
Illuminor, whatever he's called. He's there, isn't he? Looking quite chunky.
Is he?
He's next to the monolith. Yeah.
No, he's not. That's not Illuminor. That's not
whatever
Illuminor.
He's called. The new guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got the gun, which is like pretty sure that. I don't know.
No, that's not Luminor.
Oh, who's that then?
Because Luminor, like you say, is like sucking something up. He's not. He's got
you're quite right.
A claw.
He's new too.
He's new too. Yeah.
Fuck. What's he then?
No idea. Like,
wait. He's the guy in the video.
The video. Yes,
he's the video.
He is. He is the guy.
He doesn't look nearly as big as the video. Oh.
He's still big though. Like if you look at him, he still towers above. Well, his tower's above a warrior, doesn't he?
He's the size of that big fucking spindly thing in the video. He's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, he's obviously a special character. Oh no, not he's obviously a character.
He's a character,
not necessarily special. So now look next to him. There's a dude next to him who looks new too. With like he's next to the heavy Gauss guys. And I can't work out what he's got in his hands. He's either new Cryptek. That little guy. He's running forwards.
You know, that's the old Cryptek. He's like surfing on a spider thing.
No. He's running. Oh, I see. He's a loose guard. He's holding it differently. Oh,
yes.
I get it. No,
yes.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. My bad. And yeah, that's the Cryptek at the back. Right, cool. Yeah. So that's all that done. I'm just sort of now you've got something new. That's obviously a new Satan, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And how can you say that is not cooler than that fucking stupid thing at the front?
I just prefer it.
You're an idiot.
It. No, because I don't like the model. Look, all the electricity and the stuff is cool, but I actually don't really like the Catan aesthetic. I just don't. It doesn't.
Most armies. This is their big thing to get that kind of guy flying up in the lightning, right?
Yeah, so and the lightning looks incredible, but it's like I don't like that stupid Eldar thing. What's it with the swirly bullshit?
Oh, the Avatar guy. He's fucking awesome.
No, I don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. Don't like. I don't like these little dudes. They're little dudes trying to make themselves look big.
So he looks like the guys in Age of Sigmar have a guy very similar to this, similar sort of wings too, flying up on lightning.
Yes,
and I do really like it. But most armies, that's their special thing. He's not even this. He's not even the special thing.
No, but look, I mean, still, he is super cool. Like, there's no doubt about that. He is cool. I just like.
He's a painter's dream, man. He is if you are good at painting, and I am okay, I wouldn't do that thing justice. You could do it justice, right? And that's the nicest compliment I'll ever give you.
He's hard,
right?
It's hard to do though, but it's super cool, and I can't wait to see different kind of color schemes and stuff with him.
He looks very bluey silver. He's got like a Silver Surfer thing to him.
He does.
Got me kind of interested.
He does. He has like that sort of shimmery look to him, which is.
He just looks like he's gonna smash the shit out of stuff. That's for me. That's the bit. He's got like a big tail too. He just looks fucking mean. I hope he is mean. He looks like it. I should be scared of him. Right? When he's coming at me, dragging all that shit behind him and lightning. That looks like he's just gonna throw into me. I should be scared because he's about 40 foot tall. Right? I should be like, fuck. How do I deal with that? I know. I'll send him Ragnar. He'll sort it. Right? I shouldn't be. It should be a Titanic battle, and I really love that they've done that. And he's not even the biggest thing.
He's not. But he's. I mean, that base is massive. It's got to be massive bases on. Has to be huge.
And it's basically untransportable to anywhere other than your club because you ain't going in a gaming bait. That's not going in a gaming tub. I'm not getting that to Vegas, right? No. If I could take that to Vegas, it's coming out in 40 pieces. That's how that works.
It's true, but I mean, look, that absolute hats off to Games Workshop for producing such an incredibly I mean, whether it's your taste or not is irrelevant. The model is insane. Like, it is just off the chart, bonkers madness. And this is a two fingers up to casters, like, because Christ, that is not an easy thing to cast. That is just insane. So good stuff. So well done, GW.
Well, yeah, but then you say that, but on the other hand, they've given them the other model that they could just make up from other bits. So I'm not. So it's 50-50, isn't it? It's 50-50. Yeah, they could make that dude at the front up from just bits they've got lying around. So
it's almost they had a quota, didn't they? They said, right, you need like 7 new models, and they made 6 like amazing models, and they're like, shit. They said we needed 7. What are we going to do, Bob? We've got the meeting tomorrow. Hang on a minute. Here's my bits box.
Got some legs. Yeah, right. That's a good start. How many legs? 4. Let's go with 4. They're normally always on 3, but fuck it, 4. Let's go with 4 legs. And then they've got anyway, I could talk about these things forever. They look fucking weird. I'm not a fan. Those guys look like the drones that are just going to drop down into like a little turtle. Yeah. And then they're going to spring up, and it's going to be like, fuck, he's really big. Get back in your turtle shell.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, it is where it says like, what is that? That's exactly what I said. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, what? And followed by why? Why is that?
Is that necessary? So yeah,
Main event.
the main event. Yeah, I mean,
dude, he
the
looks
Silent King. Like,
awesome.
jeez. I mean, what can you
They
say?
still haven't given us a super close up of it, have they? They're kind of
No,
teasing it. He's in the back. They gave us a couple of little shots and a little still at the end. He looks. I said it's the only time I've ever got something right. But I said in one of the groups, it's going to be the Silent King isn't going to be some like big knight model. It's going to be like what they did with the Sisters of Battle. It's going to be one of those big base models with loads of things happening. Because what Games Workshop love right now is giving painters something really cool to paint. And you can't beat a model that looks like a fucking floating church with floating other bits. Because if you look, the two sort of green things next to it don't seem to be attached.
No, they're on separate bases. There's
Which
obviously
is
some sort of shielding
shield
thing.
mechanism.
Yeah.
So you've got a big fuck off base. Now you've got fucking shields. You've got the dude. Then you've got little dudes going around. You've got the Satan thing at the top. But
Captured Satan in the yeah, it's just, and his cloak as well, like that flowing cloak that kind of drapes down
metallic.
the stairs. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's so cool.
It's super cool, like with his little guards, and yeah, it just looks, it is a spectacular bit of kit, and it's how it's kind of held up on those tiny little sort of spindles of
fuck you recasters.
yeah do this,
make them
that.
honestly, I'm terrified of making it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not getting into Necrons. They're the past. I'm all about the Space Wolves. Already
You've committed.
Like I've
You've
been
committed.
outgunned. Yeah, well, it's as much of a painting project as it is anything else.
You
give it 2 events, and I'll change my mind. Don't worry. But yeah, it's ironic.
Just,
as a Space Marine player, as much as I love the Space Marines, you are right. The Necron stuff is the way more interesting because it just looks. All the Necron players crying their little eyes out. Me never get any love. You're getting some fucking love now.
Yeah, you just got it like whoomp. And what the weird thing is I can't think of any faction that has not had this once but twice, because this is exactly what they did at the tail end of 5th going into 6th. They completely revamped the whole range and put
that's
out,
where the flying croissants came in.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the croissants came out slightly after. I think they came out as like
no.
Was it exactly the same time? Was it?
So when I went to Throne of Scores in July 2012, they just launched what was 6th, and they launched the 5th edition Necron Codex, which was basically 6th edition, and everything in there looked weird and suddenly made tons of sense. Yeah. And everyone had the croissants at that event. Because I went with 3 Vendettas and got gunned out of the sky by the flying croissant wave of death. Yeah. And I could do nothing about. And it was like, this is fun. I can't kill them, and they're just wiping me out. Which is what they did. Who knew? Yeah.
It's weird the fact that it's the same again. The fact that it's not just, and even I think like Space Marines. So even when you think like Space Marines at the beginning of the edition, they had like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 kits. And then they drip feed extra one. This just feels like wham, like literally there is just so many, but not just standard models, just absolutely
already epic. Said this was one of these questions. Let me find a question. Keep talking. I'm going to find a question.
But it's just, I think it's unreal, because I mean, how many? Let me just see. So there's like one. Let me just count these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like there are 8 separate kits within that picture. I think, if my counting is correct, that's just absolutely insane. And that doesn't even include obviously the character that we've already seen as well. So that's like 9 new units, and some of them are probably dual kits. So
yeah, sky's the limit, man. So here's the question: with a new character making an appearance for Necrons, does this mean more returning major characters? Pete Foley, really big and exciting ones, really big. If that's not another fucking
Primarch,
that has got to be another Primarch, right? So this year is going to be. It's been a really shit start to this year, quite frankly. That's not fair. We had a great Vegas, right? I had a great Vegas. It all turned to shit, right? And then the last 3 or 4 months, it's been absolutely wank. But from from a gaming perspective now, looking forwards, I'm actually looking forward to it. If that sounds stupid, but
yeah,
100%.
it's a good refresh. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like it is almost like we're kind of starting from scratch. Like it feels almost a case of, and it's kind of a shame that it finished like in the way that it finished. It kind of just sort of finished.
Yeah,
abruptly.
we haven't had a hurrah to 7th in a way, have we? We haven't had that sort of final
8th
push of
7th.
tournament. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, fucking hell, where have I been? Right, yeah, that final hurrah of 8th. We're seeing where all of these new sets of rules left things. I think Tau would still come out on top. Is my general perspective of that, but I don't think we're going to get a chance to.
Well, I tell you what, though, if we don't get a chance, I'm going to lord my unbeatable list forever. I'm just telling you that now.
Well, we'll never be able to prove it different, will we?
So that will be me win.
Well, yeah, but you didn't. And I would accept that if it was a major, but it wasn't. So you have to move on, I'm afraid. Winning a GT counts for nothing, mate. That's just,
There we go. But
counts for nothing.
But we'll never know.
So let's just do some hypotheticals, right? So we know some of the changes that are coming in the rules.
Yes.
So what do you reckon? And so I'm going to ask you a question first of all. As they've now said, the way that CP unlocks stuff, and you can basically put stuff into reserves to come on from different battlefield edges, which I love, because that's always been something I like. Because if you think of a battlefield, as they said, it always bores me that it ends up being one side versus another side, because that's not how battlefields evolve.
Well, particularly not in the space like in the 41st millennium. This is not not even ranked up.
Not even in the 9th century, mate. We still had flanking. People still sent the horses around the back.
I know.
Right? So stuff comes from different. You killed the archers by sending. The 14th century fighting in Scotland, they'd send the light horses round to get to the archers. So we've not a new thing.
Yes.
Right. So not a new thing. Unfortunately, World War One became one side versus the other, but then that was of its time, and even now, modern warfare doesn't work like that anymore. You drop things in, you do different things. So when you're playing the game, it feels, even when you've got stuff in Deep Strike, it ends up being my side versus your side, because you own your side. So if you've now got the ability for everything to outflank, that makes it, it's going to turtle things up a little bit. Don't get me wrong. But then that gives you the rest of the battlefield to play with. So I quite like, if you're going to play that way, if you're still going to play the castle and I'm going to castle up, well, you've given me the whole board. So, and with now terrain already, so I know full well that their changes have probably been spurred by the fact that their own terrain is shit for tournaments. They had to adopt the bottom line of sight. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes now. But even they're talking about woods being line of sight blocking. So there's going to be definitions of terrain will be basically you won't be able to see through it, which is potentially huge. And you look at this army that you've got there. Necrons have always been what I've always called a sort of a close range army.
Mid-range.
Close range, 12 to 24.
Yeah, 24 inches I would say is mid-range.
I'd say 36 was mid. 72 is long, 36 is the middle, 24 and under is close range, I'd say. Think about a 6-foot table playing lengthways. Once you get to win 24 inches, you're in the deployment zone, aren't you? So I'd say 24 to north. I'll still say short. But okay, we'll agree to disagree, and we're just going to have to accept that I'm right. So they've always been a close to mid-range. I'll give you that. Right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Right. Stop being a dickhead. Right. And terrain can only help that, which makes them scary.
Yes.
It really does. And I like the fact, so the biggest problem with Necrons was once you realise how to kill Necrons, it was never hard. You just focus on our unit until that unit is dead.
Yeah.
And then Necron suddenly went from being terrifying to not really a challenge. And that's not to be crass. I'm sure there was some players who were playing the skin out of them. But once you sussed out the mechanics of Necrons, it was hard for them to get close. They only really had the ability to get, it was the old destroyer bomb. And they'd hold that back until they could get it off. And you could play around that.
Yeah, well, the biggest complaint about Necrons for over the last sort of 6 months to a year is the fact that there was only one competitive build for them. And now they've just given them 500 models. So we don't know. We don't know. There's all models all might be bad, but my guess is
it's going to be models and new rules because I can't. So these are all new edition models, right?
Exactly.
So we're not going to see these.
No.
You're going to get your Pariah book. I suppose you're going to get a few from Pariah. So you're going to get your new character.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of this other new stuff. I wouldn't have thought.
I don't think you are.
Maybe they drop a few, but
Yeah,
they normally only
might
drop
do.
1 or 2, don't they? Well, most books you get a special character. I got Ragnar and the other shit.
I didn't get anything.
Tara didn't get fuck all, did they?
Tyranids didn't get fuck all. Yeah.
Orcs.
Well, actually, to be fair, Tao got a new Shadow Sun. To be fair.
Yes, sorry, she did. So let's take that back because my Ragnar was just an upgraded Ragnar.
Yeah.
You got an upgraded Shadow Sun, right?
Tyranids got shit all.
Orcs got nothing from memory. Oh,
Gazgul. Orcs got Gazgul.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Take that back. Orcs got Gazgul. Gene Stealer Cult got nothing though, right?
Yeah, Gene Stealer Cult got nothing.
Yeah.
Eldar got characters. Nothing. Eldar got characters. Dark Eldar got characters.
Yeah, so not everyone's got new stuff, so you can't really complain about that. But the fact that you've got new stuff now, and you know full well you've got a bucket load of new stuff coming, it's an exciting time, I think. I mean, I won't even know where to start on some of the painting on this stuff. It just looks insane. That Silent King model, I mean, Christ.
Yeah,
there's going to be they like giving those big models out to the painting community, don't they? They always come back with something really weird. I'm looking forward to see what some of the people do with that.
They do. Right. So before we finish off the show, because we're getting to the hour mark, and we've pretty much covered everything. So just before we finish off, what's the one thing so far that you're looking forward to most in 9th edition?
Oh, that is.
It's a tough question, right? So I'll start off while you think about it. So I'm looking forward to my Carnifexes being also able to shoot the shit out of things when people try and lock them up, because that to me is super exciting, because I love my Carnifexes to death. I'm hoping that monsters get a little bit of love anyway. It sounds like they are. Because
we did predict this, didn't we? We said this in our top 5 for the year.
If people listen to us, like, we know what's coming, right? I think we're on speed dial to Games Workshop, right?
Apparently.
but for me, that's like, I already really rate my Carnifex list. It's not super like incredible powerful, but it can hang there with most lists. And obviously everything's going to change, so it's impossible to kind of rate anything now. But from the changes that I'm seeing, it looks really, really good for that list. So I'm so excited to go into 9th and put what I think is my most favourite list to play on the table and have it even more competitive. So that excites me more than I think anything else at the moment. But how about you, Sam?
I'm trying to narrow it down. So I think I'm going to be really boring, and the thing I'm most excited about is going to be what they do with terrain, because it's the one thing of the game which I'm not the only one, right? We've all really not liked what terrain's been like. They went, and to be fair to them, and I have to give them the due here, they said we oversimplified it, and people give Games Workshop a lot of shit, and they do. Yeah. Even now, you go into their page now, and whatever they release. If they release a picture of a cool model, you get people underneath going, release the rules, just release the rules. Guys, come on. You know it's coming. Just be patient, for fuck's sake. Right? Let them enjoy the fact that they've shocked the fuck out of us with an awesome trailer and some awesome fucking models. Just let them have that. Right? You know it's coming. Right? Just chillax, let it get there. But for me, from a gaming perspective, and the fact that I love terrain, the fact that suddenly my terrain might suddenly be relevant or more relevant, I think it's really. I want terrain in the game to be something other than just pretty, and I've tried very hard to make it that way. And it should interact with the game itself. It should make for interesting games. It should give all sides something interesting to do, and it shouldn't just be a wall. I would like forests to come back to be useful, because you think of a wood isn't one tree in a bit of basic terrain, is it? It is that way because that's the only way we can really play with it, because we're a pain in the ass. But there'd be 40 trees in that little wood. You're not going to be able to pick a sniper shot through it, are you? Or very, very fleetingly. So that it should really block some line of sight. We went too abstract, and then we went unabstract again. We went very, I can't see you through that brick. Well, it always used to be terrain. You didn't have to make it realistic, because realistic is a pain in the ass to play on. You can't balance a model on a fucking slope he falls over, so you made it unabstract. But the idea was that you couldn't picture that ruin, but it was a ruin. And actually spotting a guy, he looks like he's in the open, but he isn't really. And it never really gave it any justice. And so that's for me. My biggest thing is fucking make terrain cool again.
I think
Don't
that's
let me down.
I think that's absolutely spot on. I think everyone's excited about that. I think, and I think it seems like a minor point, but actually it's so important in our games. But you guys, if you're listening to this, and you've hanged on to the end of this podcast, let us know either in the video comments or on the Facebook page or wherever you consume this content. Let us know what you're most excited about. Let us know what you really are looking forward to, what you're not happy with. Have your moans and groans. We always love to read them as well, so let us know in the comments, and yeah, be really excited to see what you put down there. But thank you very much for listening or watching until the end. We'll be back with another podcast really soon. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.